Protect yourself is being slowly chipped away by the gun control industry. Tune into the next segment to get up to date on what's been happening in the fight for the Second Amendment and what you can do to help.
But first, PRMI Mortgage, primeres.com/Alpine. Are you in the military? Are you looking for help with a VA loan? Or if you're looking to buy, refi, or considering a reverse mortgage, call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Call Chris Wiley at 619-722-1303 or just go to primeres.com/Alpine.
So there's all kinds of cool stuff going on in the Second Amendment activism world. And if you're not involved, I got to tell you, this is your opportunity. This is your year to get involved, whether you're in the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, Riverside, or you're in Orange County, or you're in San Diego. There is all kinds of stuff happening Second Amendment related. You know, I think it's easy to get discouraged and focus on the bad because there's a lot of bad coming down the pipe. It seems like every year they Joe just talked about some horrible bill that's being introduced, and it's almost like they're running out of stupid ideas. They're having to really struggle to come up with new stupid ideas.
No. They will never run out of ideas. You see how goofy they are right now?
Oh, I know.
They must sit in a room and say, okay, what are we going to come up next?
Yeah, well, they tried to earlier in the year. The ghost gun thing was a big, that was their big pejorative, but there really is a lot of good things. There are a lot of good things happening. All 4 counties have a strong sheriff, a strong CCW sheriff that's been endorsed. Orange County endorsed Don Barnes. He really helped kick off the Orange County, especially helped kick off the CCW thing in Southern California. And he's a bit of a convert. Don wasn't always pro issue, and but he saw the light and listened to the people, especially the sheriff that served before him, and in his whole term, he's been extremely pro CCW and extremely worthy of our support. And no one's even running against him. That's how strong a candidate he is. But for someone to be that strong, pro CCW and still, be such a strong candidate is in and of itself a victory. Now, people kind of, Orange County, that's, the ultimate conservative stronghold. Not anymore. It's not really like that anymore. There's a lot of elected anti-gun folks in Orange County. They're having just as much a struggle as anywhere else right now. So for them to have such a strong CCW candidate for sheriff, that means a lot of really great things. In Inland Empire and Riverside, Bianco, everybody's favorite. I got to tell you, I really love that guy. He's an extremely strong candidate. Just had a fundraiser. Inland Empire Gun Owners was there. Carla and Mike Talley were there at his fundraiser. He had 1,000 people at his fundraiser. The sheriff had 1,000 people at his fundraiser. It's huge. And he was happy to stop and talk with Inland Empire. He's a very, very strong Second Amendment guy. He's issued over 10,000 CCWs in just the first 3 years that he was in office, which is really, really fantastic. I think it's even more than that, but it was I think it was like the first 2 years he'd issued 10,000, wasn't it, Joe? Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember quite the numbers there, but yeah, I'll go with your memory.
And then Dicus up in San Bernardino has taken over for McMahon, and that's another strong situation. There's a lot of really good things happening. And why is this important? Well, it's cool because you can get your CCW now. It's cool so you can protect yourself. But this is a fairly quick cultural change that's happening. You're having tens of thousands of people that are walking around with a concealed firearm. These are sane, trained, law-abiding gun owners that are walking around with a firearm like it's normal because it is in the rest of the country. That is turning into a cultural change. That's huge. And, San Diego went from 1,100 to we're over 6,000 now. And just
6278, I think, is the number right now. And the March numbers will be out here probably this week or next week.
And they're approving what, like 200 a month?
Yeah.
They're not approving. They're issuing 200 a month. They're approving more than 200 a month. They're issuing 200 a month. That's huge. But what's interesting, and I think I'm going to write about this.
Have Joe do it.
What's interesting is there are 2 fairly major races in San Diego where the Democrats are pro-gun and the Republican is anti-gun. And they're fairly major. This isn't like dog catcher. This is fairly major race. Of course, everybody thinks of Democrats as being anti-gun, which they've earned that reputation. and they think of Republicans as being pro-gun, which they have not earned that reputation. And to be honest with you, they're just not Democrats. So people.
And which are those races, just for our listeners?
So the two major races. Let's start with the less major of the two. Is Chula Vista mayor. Now, Chula Vista is a town of 250,000 people, something like that. They have a fairly big field, but the three front runners are Jill Galvez, Amar Campanajjar, and John McCann. John McCann is the Republican, and then Amar and Jill are the two Democrats. And John McCann, let's start with the Republican, voted for a gun ban about two and a half years ago on the city council. Voted for a gun ban. Okay, and it was a resolution saying, yep, he wanted to ban some guns. He wanted to ban magazines. It was a horrible resolution. Talked to him about it beforehand. He indicated that he wanted to vote against it, wanted me to get the additional vote. He needed 3 votes, and he knew he had one more, but he needed a third, and I got that vote for him, and he still turned on us and voted for this gun ban. So the person that voted with us, Jill Galvez, she's the one she's the Democrat that's running for mayor. And then the other one, Amar Campanajjar, courted our endorsement, when he was running out here in East County, owns guns, made a commercial about guns. Now, everybody, you can sit there and be skeptical. Oh, well, they're just saying it. They're just making it up. They're just whatever. They don't really, well, it's not exactly, nah. Okay, but it's the Republican in the race that's voted for a gun ban in an official manner. It's the 2 Democrats in the race that haven't and have actually supported, the right to keep and bear arms in very real ways, including voting against that gun ban.
Did you speak to him after that?
Who, John McCann? Yeah, we had words. We spoke.
Yes, he drew the Schwartz ire. I remember that.
Was he on air?
Choice words.
He won't come on air. He's an absolute spineless coward. And
that's the mild version.
Yeah. Can't you just tell us how you feel? And just quit beating around the bush?
He's horrible. He really is horrible. No, but here's the other big race is you have 2 Democrats. So you have 3 front runners in the sheriff's race for San Diego. And we've talked a lot about it. And the 2 Democrats, Dave Myers and Kelly Martinez, are very pro-CCW. They're pro-gun. And the endorsed Republican is, of course, Hemmerling, who's gun violence restraining order.
7.
And we've talked about him.
7.
He's so bad, okay? He's so bad that 2 more candidates who are Republicans have jumped into the sheriff's race. That's how bad he is. They basically met him, heard him talk, and said, all right, we got to do something. One of them is a CHP officer, career CHP officer. His name's Jonathan Peck, really good dude. Another one's named Chuck Battle. He was a career deputy, sheriff's deputy. Both good men, both fantastic good men, and they jumped in. They don't have a chance, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Talked to them both on the phone at length, and you cannot raise enough money and get the word out quick enough jumping into the race this late in the game.
Well, that truck driver did it back east.
Yeah, well, you're right. It happens.
$200.
Miracles happen. But it's unfortunate. But that's how bad the Republican candidate is. So that's the majorest race in San Diego. Everybody votes for sheriff. You have 2 pro-gun Democrats against 1 endorsed anti-gun Republican.
And he's endorsed by the Republicans?
Endorsed by the Republican Party. They screwed over the San Diego County Gun Owners in order to endorse him. And again, that resulted in 2 more people jumping in. That's how horrible Hemmerling is.
Well, the other thing, too, that says about the Democrats that you were just talking about is you got to give them a little bit of credit for standing up, for the Second Amendment side, because they have to go against pretty much a major pillar of their party to stand up, for gun rights, say, whereas with the Republican side, it's a lot easier for them just to not say anything and pretend, I'm pro-Second Amendment, but they don't have to do anything. But for a Democrat to do that.
Hit the nail on the head, Joe. That's exactly right. And that's why I got to tell you, no matter where you stand, first off, I think you should vote for Democrats who are pro-gun, even if you're a Republican, even if you don't share many of their other views, because it will help make them more like you. It will help make them more like you if you vote for Democrats based on who are standing up and saying, "Yep, I'm pro-gun." Even if they're not A pluses, let's say they're B's or B minuses, but at least they're standing up and saying, "Hey, it's important." But if you absolutely can't bring yourself for whatever reason, I got to tell you, Kelly Martinez is such a good candidate. She's been in the department for over 30 years. She has a ton of experience. Very level-headed, very, middle of the road. She's done a really fantastic job. She's head and shoulders above, on paper and in practice, she's head and shoulders above her opponents. And if your principles don't allow you to vote for somebody who's such an outstanding candidate, because she's a Democrat, I would suggest it's time to reevaluate your principles, because she's so good. If you absolutely can, if you're so committed to Team R that you can't vote for somebody that's so good on Team D, I would recommend it's time to maybe reevaluate your principles. But at the very least, call these pro-gun Democrats and say thanks. It means a lot. Just call them up and say, hey, you know what? I don't know if we agree on much else, but boy, can't tell you how much I appreciate you standing up for my gun rights. It means a lot. So,
thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.